What's going on, guys? It's Don over at REI Automation, and it's been a while since we've done a Podio tip or trick. Figured I'd knock one out today on something that we use, and it's Redfin and their data center. If you have MLS access, sometimes you can get most of the stuff through your MLS, other times you can't. So it's useful to see not only in your area, but across the nation and some other markets how things are going. So within the data center, you can do some things such as your median sales price, average sale to list, and percentage sold above and below list price, things like that, months of supply and inventory, and stuff that's very easy to pull into an Excel file and then manipulate that Excel file and see if things are trending upward, downward, kind of stagnant across, and is it just your market or nationwide? So if we go down to this area below, you've got the ability to, in this drop down, pick national, and then you can type in things like your city or county. And you can see here I've picked the county. And then once you've picked it, this will go to where you can apply it, and it'll throw it onto the graph for you. So you can see median sales price for us. Our one Waukesha market is trending with pretty much the national average. And then we've got the Milwaukee area, which is more of a rental type market more often than not. So it's below that average mark. It's in the cheaper market where you can get some decent rentals for fairly cheap and still get the $8 to $1,500, sometimes $1,200 in the rent coming from those areas, and they're under a 100-150 price point for a nicer neighborhood, and then the cheap rentals are going to be below 50 type areas. But you can see that there. If you get into things like home sales, you can go across and it'll load up the national average. Now with this, what I would do is actually take off the national and then apply that, and you'll be able to see the two different markets here in a second. And so compared to over the years, you can see what home sales look like for the different markets and how they're trending. And then when you get into things like inventory, month supply, days on market, you hear that oftentimes with a lot of the flippers and stuff, where they want to know how long it takes to sell a property once they've gone and done all the work. So if we go in here and apply that and click up here to take that off, you can see the inventory across the national average. And then if we take it off and apply it for just the markets that you're looking at, you can go ahead and see inventory levels are actually down for both of our markets, more so in the Milwaukee area, but Waukesha is trending down, going up a little bit right now, but in an overall decline. And then if you go into month supply, you kind of know just from looking at this that month supply, it's lower, so it's a seller's market, and we're dealing with that. So the appointments, you hear people that think they're going to list it and ask for above market, and they think they can get it, and in certain areas they are getting it. So if you don't have the ability or have a brokerage where you can offer a retail or a lease option or something where it gets them close to retail, owner finance type stuff, if you're just coming in as a fix and flip or a wholesaler trying to get cash offers to people in this kind of a market, it's difficult. It's possible, but it's difficult because the sellers know that they're getting top value out of their properties, and stuff is selling quickly. There's not a huge supply, and the demand is there. So days on market, you can see you've got your winter months, and this is the Midwest, and then you've got your spring months, which always drop down and take off during the spring. Everyone wants to move, and summer, when the kids are out of school, you're at your lowest points, and then we get to winter and nobody wants to move. So you can kind of see those swings of up and down and where we're at in the different markets. But days on market overall, you can see is in a declining for these different markets. Let's see if I turn on the national average, what it looks like for that. Let me apply that filter. So national average is in a decline as well. And so we're trending with that national average. National average is lower than these markets. So we do find it's obviously important to have your buyers list and know who's actually buying and has the cash, and or if you're doing hotels or anything like that, be ready to make those phone calls to the agents that have the buyers in those markets. So if I do the drop down here, you can see that these are all the different categories up at the top. So if I keep clicking over here, this is what you're going to see if I keep clicking over. So I will move over to sold above list. Let's get to that real quick and look at that. So you can see National 24% sold above list, Milwaukee 35%, and Waukesha 27%. So there are, a quarter of the properties or greater that are selling above list currently, and it's trending up, and that's because of the supply and demand and where we're at in the market right now. So just for fun, let's go out to where I live. Crazy market. It's hot. I'm sure, I'm just guessing, but we're going to see that that is above the national average is my guess before it applies it. And it is. So you can see right here, we had a huge upswing, and we're having Orange County area has got the national average, but it's just above it. But use these different things to look at kind of how your market is trending compared to some of the other, rental markets, if that's what you do, turnkey, or some of the other hotter flipper markets. You can kind of see what the trends are and know where the market is headed somewhat from the trends. And then once you have that stuff, you can actually download and or share these files that you've gone and filtered out the data. So I just found that this is very useful to kind of see where the market was, where it's headed. And you can see the demand right here, housing market demand activity. So different items here, but play with it and tweak it and download the data and keep an eye on it, because some of us are seeing kind of a trend where in the next 24 months, there could be some change coming. So keep an eye on it, know what your days on market are, what your supply and demand looks like for your market and other markets, and keep an eye on it. You can see right here, period, it's only letting you go back to 2009, so you can catch, some of the bad times that we had a while ago, but that's not all the way back to when it really hit rock bottom. But keep an eye on it, and hopefully you find this useful. If you need anything or you have any questions, you can reach out to us either at our email of reiautomationsquad@gmail.com, or check us out on our website at www.reiautomationsquad.com. And if you're looking for any type of CRM, we've got the Beast Mode that has the ability to follow up with these sellers, automated follow-up sequence, strip sequences, and the ability to even now blast 100 at a time with voicemails and SMS. Besides that, it's got the KPI tracking and things like that to make sure you know your numbers, you know what it takes to get an offer and contract accepted, how many appointments you got to go on, things like that. Hope you guys find this a useful video. Let me know if there's anything else that you would like from us. Otherwise, we'll try to drop a couple of these once every 2 weeks or so. We're going to try to drop moving forward. All right, guys, take care. Thanks.